Want to do stuff like this?
Holy shit!
Well, if you are, then I'm here today to teach you how to play Shadow the Hedgehog in full depth. Before we get into this, I just want to keep in mind, all this stuff is my opinion on how I played the character. Just because of what I say, doesn't mean that's how you need to play the character in your games. But, let's just get right into the character background. Main things we know about Shadow's backstory is obviously the Maria stuff, and that he was created by Gerald Robotnik and Goku. No, not Goku. Right, let me try that again. For Shadow's backstory, we know he was created by Dr. Gerald Robotnik and has the Black Doom DNA. Black Doom being an evil alien. I don't really know much about him. I've not played this Shadow the Hedgehog game, nor do I intend to. But he had a best friend of the name Maria who was diagnosed with a terminal illness, who tragically got lit up by Gun because they found out about Project Shadow. But Maria sacrificed herself to save Shadow from Gun. And also about Maria, that everyone was quite happy to see her die in Sonic 3. I don't know why, but yeah, let's just move on to how to play him in Outcome. Shadow I like to separate into his two stages. His first stage being the Mag stage. In this stage, you play him completely different from when you have Chaos Snap. You usually want to stick near a stunner, so maybe like Knuckles or Metal, I would say. In Stun Extend, they're stunts, because you're going to get the most stuns out of Stun Extending. Because the gun in itself is pretty difficult to aim, but it can stun stack. That is one of its greatest strengths, the strength of stun stacking. And if done right with a Metal Sonic and a Knuckles, you could probably get 2 rounds off, back to back, with your gun, because of how quickly it is to reload. It takes very little time to reload. It also has a parry mechanic, which is very useful if used in the right hands, as it can negate M1s from any killer, Colossus and 2011X's charge, and Fleetway's Chaos Dash, which is really good for even helping your team as well. But you gotta be careful when using your gun, because like I've said before, probably, it is a lot slower. You move very slow, and the killer can really take advantage of that, especially if you're not timing your parry correct. Then you can be heavily punished for using your gun wrong. But I think this is the part where we move on to Chaos Snap and how to use Chaos Snap really effectively. Now when you have Chaos Snap, you want to get away from the killer. Your entire job is what people call Shadow in general as a sneak merchant. You just sneak the killer. That is your whole thing. You aim your cursor over the killer, and make sure obviously there's not a wall between you, and Chaos Snap him. That is your entire goal. If you see your team in danger, just Chaos Snap, and they're out of danger. You're the biggest nuisance for killers like Colossus and Fleetway. You tear Fleetway out of the sky with Chaos Snap if done correct. And do not get me started on that dash boost. That dash boost can counter every single charge in the game, along with getting Shadow out of trip mines and the possibilities to loop some killers like 2011X. Shadow, at its core, is just the most annoying survivor to go against. You don't find him, and when you try to go for someone else, he comes out of nowhere and sneaks the living shit out of you. And it is so goddamn beautiful to pull off. I am not complaining. The way they made Shadow a sneak merchant, I think is funny as crap. Because every single person I see who tries to blame Shadow calls him nothing but a sneak merchant. And that's what they made him. I find that completely hilarious, and it's so in character for how he works. But enough of the rant. Shadow is so great for helping his team. He has the greatest capabilities of providing cover for his team. If you see someone in danger, you can just Chaos Snap to them and bail them out. He is such a good person for working with his team, even though he technically works on his own. Shadow's potential for competitive play is probably one of the highest potentials in the game. Shadow most likely could take down a killer on their own that isn't 2011X Rage Mode, but I'll get to that. His maps as well, he's really good on most maps, his strongest being not perfect. His weakest, I don't actually know if he has a weakest map, honestly. But the fact with Chaos Snap is that you should be staying back as far as possible and bailing your team out of danger. That is your main mission. Bail your team out when possible. And if it's Fleetway, Chaos Snap as much as possible. Your Chaos Snap is going to be his biggest nuisance because he can't see you coming. You get free 15 damage just about every 20 seconds, if done right. But the big problem lies with Shadow after Chaos Snap. If the killer decides to go for you afterwards, your main thing is you need to rely on your team to let you get the shit out of there. Because your dash boost won't get you too far. And especially if it's a really strong killer like Fleetway, he can tear you apart with no abilities. And with Chaos Snap, you need to stay back quite a bit more, usually. Because you have to use the Roblox cursor on controller. It is so annoying that you can't just use the normal in-game cursor, but I understand somewhat why. But it is really strong if done right. That is why I will always say Shadow is a sneak merchant. And if played right, he can be your biggest asset. So the main takeaway from this, Chaos Snap is really great. It even has iframes on startup. That is how great it is as a tool. Dash boost, really good for helping your team or getting yourself out. Gun? I don't even know what to say about gun. That can just get some good damage on Fleetway, or it can stun for quite a while if you pair up with Metal or Knuckles. There are very big hindrances to Shadow's kit that I want to talk about before we wrap this up. There is some very few killers that can take Shadow down with ease. One of them being 2011X. If he managed to catch Shadow alone in Rage Mode, he's done for. His Chaos Snap stuns for roughly the same amount of time as a singular Sonic Drop Dash. You're not getting any distance with that. You are going to get hit, and you're going to take some heavy damage off of 2011X. Even though Shadow has lots of HP, it can be shredded by 2011X in a close quarters encounter, along with other killers like Colossus. I still think Colossus is Shadow's best matchup, Fleetway being his second, and Tripwire being his third. 2011X being his worst matchup. Not to say he can't do good against those killers, just to say if 2011X gets Rage Mode, Shadow will probably get tunneled, and probably should get tunneled in Rage Mode. Probably more than Metal, honestly, because Shadow is the biggest nuisance outside of Rage to any killer and to 2011X without Rage. So you need to take him down when you can. But Shadow has some teammates who he works well with and works not great with. At the start of the game when you have your gun, you work amazing with Knuckles and Metal. Those two you want to stick by to get as much stun stacking potential as possible. But once you lose your gun, you need to stay on your own until you Chaos Snap. Once you're out of danger and you know the killer isn't after you, get away from your team and find a good spot to sneak the killer again. I guess that really sums up everything I want to talk about though. So if you like this video, I mean, I'm not going to ask you to do it, right? But I also am going to ask you. Please like and subscribe, because only like, what, 2% of viewers are subscribed? I know that's like annoying to hear all the time, but it's true, it really is. And if you like more unscripted videos like this, because this is like completely unscripted and just based off of what I think, please let me know in the comments below. And also join my Outcome Memories Discord server. We are in a growing server where you can find teammates to play with and people just who you want to have fun with and enjoy the game with. And I mean, I guess that's really it, you know. But let me know your opinions on how you feel in the comments, and if you want me to do this again for another character or even killer. There is a big Fleetway video coming up soon. I can't say much about it, but it's featuring a lot of other content creators, and be excited for it because it's my biggest project yet. But I mean, I guess that's all. So I'll let this game play out, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace. I might actually escape. See ya. Fuck's sake, how is this not working now? Where? Whereabouts? Okay. I'm trying, but it's not working. It just didn't work. Yes, Metal! Metal, let's go. Just go because you don't get the escape multiplier. Oh.